No. Pace. Don't do it. No. Don't do it. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. No. 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 Don't even think of no. Don't even think about it. No.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Tuesday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day so far. Having a look at Bitcoin and crypto, well, it's another boring day, unfortunately. Now, everybody is anticipating a massive move. I mean, you guys watched the video yesterday. We know that Bitcoin is getting ready to make a big move. A lot of people, though, unfortunately, are saying it's probably going to be to the downside. I do want to talk about that today because we're seeing this chart is looking very, not too great. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it just looks like Bitcoin is kind of giving up right now. And what I think is happening is there's just so much uncertainty right now with Binance purging US citizens, Bakkt coming out very soon, Bitcoin getting to the end of this wedge. You're having talks about manipulation. People are saying that it's just going to end exactly like November did. We're going to dump 50%. And I think right now, a lot of people are just scared to even make any trades. They're scared to even do anything right now. I do want to talk about that. I want to discuss the Bitcoin dominance, the real Bitcoin dominance. Also, the fact that we had SEC Chairman Jay Clayton say that we're actually getting closer to a Bitcoin ETF. So that was some positive news that came out as well. So if that sounds good to you, well, you guys know what to do. Also, if you are new to the channel and you're not subscribed yet, well, we do this every single day. You definitely do not want to miss out. So let's dive in. Let's have a look at what is going on. Let me give this a quick refresh live. So, okay, Bitcoin dominance. Basically exactly where it was yesterday. Like I said, we're not seeing a lot of movement right now in the charts. We have ABBC coin up 16%, Zcoin 11, Holo 7, Algorand, Bitcoin Diamond Theta, Nash, which is actually finally just launched. And just to let you guys know, if you haven't signed up for Nash yet, they are being super strict on US citizens. You can't even use a VPN. Totally sucks. I tried. But if you guys are outside of the US and you want to sign up, you can still use my link below. You do need a referral to actually sign up. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to actually be able to benefit from it because I am US citizen. But if you do need to use the exchange, I do have a referral link below. You can use it, sign up, and, you know, congratulations if you're non-US. Have fun trading on Nash, but kind of sucks. But what are you going to do? Currently, we do have Bitcoin dominance. It is pulling back. You see, we are struggling at around this level right here, which is basically the 71.68. We're at 71.84. So that's that situation. And what I really wanted to point out was this absolutely abysmal volume on a Tuesday, $572 million. Guys, that is pathetic right now. And you know what that means? The lower we have, the lower volume, the less liquidity, the more easy it is to manipulate these markets. And that's why I'm treading very lightly right now. You have a lot of people saying that we're going to have this massive dump. What if the whales decide to catch us all off guard and just pump it, right? It could happen. So very uneasy, very uncertain days. I think we're all just really waiting for Bakkt to launch. Currently, it's sort of tied right down the middle, 51 to 49%. Longs and shorts having mixed across the board. Some exchanges buying, neutral, selling. Like I said, guys, nobody knows what the heck is going on. Fear and greed index is at 41. I mean, it might, you know, if it gets to 50, we're basically at neutral. You're seeing even here, we're only mild fear. So very uncertain times right now. I mean, even look at this. We didn't even really plummet once we, fell below the support. We're actually just chilling in the blue box territory. So it's not even like, oh, like we broke support and now we're just massively dumping. The market's not even reacting to that either. Having a look at this though, I did point out yesterday that we are sort of in a smaller wedge within the giant triangle. Now, we did get supported, you could see right here, at about that $10,054 level. So we may bounce around kind of going sideways, super low volume for, maybe another week or so, and then have the explosion. But if we do not break to the upside, we are looking to fall back into this red zone and maybe potentially get supported by, the $9,400, $9,300 level. And also we are following this trend right here. You could see downwards, and unfortunately, it still is going lower and lower. So, if you kind of go all the way out to the end, you are looking at that $9,400, $500, $9,300 Bitcoin, right? Now, obviously, we are still looking at the 21 exponential sitting at around 9,231. We are well above the EMA on the weekly, but I do want to really quick, before we look at the rest of the charts, because I think this is important and I think this is going to tie in, I want to talk about the fact that they asked Jay Clayton if we were any closer to a Bitcoin ETF being approved, and this is what he had to say.
Now, your realm here is a Bitcoin ETF. Are we any closer, or have the people involved in the Bitcoin businesses in any way come closer to satisfying your concerns?
The short answer is yes, but there's work left to be done. Those were not trivial questions. How do we know that we can custody and have a hold of these crypto assets? That's a key question. An even harder question, given that they trade on largely unregulated exchanges, is how can we be sure that those prices aren't subject to significant manipulation? Now, progress is being made, but people needed to answer those hard questions for us to be comfortable that this was the appropriate type of product.
So clearly one of the main concerns is manipulation. He's made that very clear. He stated that over and over again. In fact, we had the Bitwise report, which came out and said about 90% of all of the volume is completely wash traded, right? Which is why I do refer to things like Masari on Chain FX, because they do provide the real 10 24-hour. You can see over here, reported is 4 billion, real is 500, but you want to see something even crazier. If you go over to CoinMarketCap is showing 15 billion. So how do we have 15 billion, almost 5, and then 500 million, right? Where are we getting all these numbers from? So clearly that's a problem. But I do want to just point one thing out. If you guys had an opportunity to check out this video, I will drop it below. This came out on, it was the History Channel, and it's basically talking about manipulation with gold and silver COMEX markets, okay? So these things are happening in traditional markets as well, okay? It's not like, this is really cool. A gold Monopoly set. I got to get one of those. Anyway, but you could see that this happens anyway in traditional markets. And I do want to point something out that's a little bit unfortunate. The Van Eck XBTCZ thing where they were kind of doing the ETF that wasn't really an ETF, but it was an ETF. Well, you could see if you zoom in right here, guys, they're only doing 41.4K total net assets, and this is 4 days after launch. So let me just break that down to you. They have a whopping 1 basket that's been sold. 1. Okay? Well, not sold, but you know what I'm saying. And this is definitely pretty pathetic moving forward. Now, you did have Tom Lee coming out saying, I think it's too early to judge the success of the product. But, Bakkt is looking to solve some of this situation, It says the Bakkt warehouse is active for futures. Bitcoin deposited at our warehouse is protected by a $125 million insurance policy. And this is a step forward in the right direction. But, guys, you cannot make this up. If we have a look at sort of this little curve that we've been supported on, we have been putting in higher lows, which is a good thing, but we are looking to basically come to the end of this wedge when Bakkt launches, right? And I do see a lot of analysts predicting a drop. They think that this Bakkt situation is going to be exactly like what happened with the other futures where they just took the opportunity to short it. I still think that physically settled futures with Bitcoin is going to create that demand. Some people tell me no, it's going to dump. So if that's the case, then we're going to learn a lesson for sure within a couple days.
You're going to learn today. You're going to learn today.
But if we do think it's going to go lower, like I said, the 21 exponential would be the next. And also a big moving average is the 200, right? The 200 daily moving average is sitting at about 7,900. That has provided pretty good support for us during pretty much the entire market, the bull market, right? So yeah, we're gonna have to keep our eyes on that, but it is definitely getting closer. And let me know what you guys think, because either way, Bitcoin did start off on this parabolic trend, and regardless of whether or not Bakkt got pushed back, we're still looking to sort of hit this wall anyway, right around that time. So it is interesting though how Bakkt kept pushing Bakkt until we got to the end of this wedge. It does, you could have a few conspiracies out there. I could see a few people saying that, but we do have 2 days until the Binance purge. I'm keeping my eyes on it right now. You can see though the altcoins they've been held down by this curve. So currently that is the situation moving forward. And I just wanted to touch on altcoins real quick. For example, there were a lot of altcoins that were really, really popular in 2017 and 2018. One of them that was talked about a lot, did have a lot of controversy as well, was Substratum. I didn't really speak about it too much on my channel. It was never really a project that I connected with, but I did see a lot of other people talk about it. And you can see right here, last Friday, I was laid off. This is from Dan Weeb, not fired from Substratum. Subsequently, I was offered a short extension, but I had made other plans, so I declined. So my ongoing work on Substratum node will be as a volunteer. And you can see scrolling down here, he said, the company has reached the end of its funding, as we all know it would, but the project is still alive. And if we go over to here to Masari, you could see that it's down 5% on the debt, 5% right now, 22% 24-hour change, and 99.66% down from the all-time high. And unfortunately, this is what we saw with a lot of the altcoins, not just picking on this. I just picked a random coin, guys. We saw a lot of this happen, right? So this is seriously what a lot of people are concerned about. Was the 2017 altcoin boom just a one-time off thing? Is it ever actually going to happen again? You could see Dovey Wan over here. She says, is there another major time period when Bitcoin decoupling from alts and price movement? I looked at price for the past 4 years and I couldn't find any. Does it mean there is a consensus level divergence between Bitcoin and alts? And you actually see Adam Beck says it's a reversion to the mean. Bitcoin dominance, the whole thing lasts about 2.5 years. And he's saying that we need to go back to 90% dominance, right? Now, having a look at basically this Forbes article, you could see, I did talk about this, but researchers found that if Bitcoin's dominance is adjusted for liquidity by calculating the volume-weighted market capitalization, it actually soars to over 90%. So obviously getting rid of all these dead and illiquid coins and also having a look at this adjusted for liquidity, you see that Bitcoin is actually trading already at 90% of the dominance, and you're looking at Ethereum, XRP, and Litecoin combined actually being only about 10%. And you could see that for quite some time, even though we did have a slight overall decline of Bitcoin's dominance, it was sitting at 86.2% in the beginning of 2017. And then we started having that crazy altcoin boom, right? So really what happened in 2017 was the anomaly. That was sort of the thing that really didn't make sense. It actually does make more sense for Bitcoin's dominance to be much higher. And having a look at some of these coins right here, obviously, Ethereum is up 74%. Oh, with whopping $85,000 worth of volume. Let's all just buy some Ethereum. But, look at this. Unicoin Gold. Could you tell? YGG Drash, Indahash. I remember a lot of people were talking about that. Wowbit, Loyalcoin, Edgeless, Hash Guard, ECG, Game Credits. What are all of these? Ultra, Centivate. I don't even know what these projects are, guys. And these are obviously the investors are not looking at this, right? And I did want to point out one thing. There's this really good video online. It's Investing Lessons from Gersham's Law. Now, Gersham's Law basically says that, there's actually two ways you could sort of look at it. But in this particular instance, they're saying that bad stocks, or you could look at it as bad crypto, drives out the good crypto or the good stocks during these crazy bull markets, these crazy euphoria where everybody's just throwing money at everything. All the due diligence goes out the window. People stop analyzing things properly and they just try to get on these rocket ships, right? And unfortunately, what ended up happening was during this time, a lot of people invested in altcoins, which ended up losing 80% to over 90% of their value. And in the meantime, they were selling their Bitcoin to who? Who were you selling your Bitcoin to? Do you know? Were you selling it to the banks? Were you selling it to the whales? Nobody really knows, but so many people were getting rid of their precious, precious Bitcoin. And before we go on, I just want to remind you, the one Bitcoin dominance chart that actually matters, the real one, is this one right here. Not Bitcoin compared to other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, because it is a currency, I do believe Bitcoin is money, okay? I actually treat it as money, and I compare it to things like gold and fiat. And when you consider the fact that Bitcoin represents about 0.09% of all of the money in the world, guys, we're early. We are very, very early. And if you guys want to check, I actually went into a huge talk about this with Crypto Lark. We were talking about Bitcoin dominance and everything else. So definitely check this video out. I was getting a little heated and passionate, as you could see from the video. So I'm going to give it a quick thumbs up. Thanks, Lark. I do appreciate it. I'm going to drop it above, actually. Check it out. It was a really good conversation. If you want to check it out, actually, I haven't talked to Lark in a while, so it was really good to have a conversation with my good old friend. But getting off topic here, Tether is donating $1 million and has set up an address to collect donations in Tether to support the humanitarian relief efforts in the wake of the devastation caused by Hurricane Dorian. Now, regardless of how we all feel about Tether, I think this is a really generous thing that they're doing. And, if you are looking to donate, you can. Now, of course, you have a bunch of smart asses down here being like, why don't you just print some Tether? Why do we got to donate it? Guys, all right, they're trying to do something good. They're trying to donate to the hurricane relief, all right? So I get it. It's Tether. I get it. But I just wanted to point that out. It is something nice that Tether is doing. We also have Swift conveniently coming out, and they're dismissing cryptocurrencies as being useless and unstable. They say they go down in value like a yo-yo. They're useless and unstable. Even if crypto companies do make it stable, it's still just a basket of currencies. Okay, sounds like you're kind of it sounds like that is a statement towards Libra, but we all know like XRP, I mean, you have your opinions on it, but crypto is still way better settlement than Swift. I mean, if you do it after hours, you have to wait 12 hours minimum. You're waiting 24 hours and paying abysmal fees to get your money sent, right? So yeah, not exactly, guys. Also, I did mention Nash in the beginning. If you guys want, I do have a referral. Unfortunately, I don't think I can benefit from this because they're not letting me on the platform. But if you do need a code to join, you're more than welcome to use mine below. Also, speaking of exchanges, you have Angela Kwan, COO of BitMEX, is currently on a gardening leave as she plans to leave the company. Now, I never heard of this term before. Apparently, it's a condition in which an employee has resigned but is instructed to stay away from work during a notice period while remaining on the payroll. So, does this have more to do with what's been happening with all this BitMEX CFTC situation? Well, that is the case. So, what are your options? Well, you can see Binance Futures has launched. You can go trade over there. However, notice that this is a screenshot and not the actual website because once again, US citizen over here, I cannot use Binance Futures. So what do I suggest? Well, guys, obviously I do use Bybit. It's pretty much the only one that's friendly. It has good liquidity. You don't see the overload. So if you guys haven't checked it out, I do have a link below. You guys can use it. And if you're not sure how to use the platform, I do have a video popping up above, but be safe. Do not use crazy leverage, guys. If you're a beginner, I'm talking like 3x, not financial advice, but please be safe out there. Now, two more quick things before we go. Wesley Snipes is actually teaming up with LCX Exchange to tokenize a $25 million movie fund. The fund's going to be used to invest in the production of both films and TV shows. The fund, dubbed Daywalker Movie Fund, will invest in both movies and TV shows produced by Dr. Wesley Snipes. I didn't know he was actually a doctor. Through the DMF security token, investors will receive a portion of the profits from the fund's productions. Token holders will also receive additional benefits to include invitations to movie premieres. Profits from the DMF will be reinvested into the fund to increase its long-term value. Also, if you guys have not seen this clip yet from Akon, I will drop it below. I even retweeted it on my Twitter. It was really awesome what he said. It's from the Breakfast Club interview that I told you guys about a little bit ago. And finally, guys, that is it for me today. I am out of here. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. Obviously, you know nothing